Every story is a door. You came here because there's a door calling your name. The orb sees everything. It knows what you need. It has chosen. I only retell. Real or fiction? I won't say. You only need to find meaning for yourself. Listen. Let me ask you something, seeker. Have you ever tried to run from something only to run straight into it? Have you ever made a choice to escape your fate only to discover that your choice was your fate all along? Tonight, the crystal shows me an ancient tale. A tale whispered in the markets of Baghdad for 1,000 years. A tale about a servant who saw death and ran, but discovered that you cannot outrun what is already waiting for you. This is a story about fate, about the choices we make thinking we are free, and the roads we take thinking we can escape, only to find that every road leads to the same destination. This is The Appointment in Samarra. Long ago, in the ancient city of Baghdad, there lived a wealthy merchant. He was a kind man, fair to his servants, generous to the poor. And he had one servant whom he trusted above all others. One morning, the merchant sent his servant to the marketplace to buy food for the household. A simple task on an ordinary day. The servant walked through the crowded stalls, examining the fruits, bargaining with vendors, just like any other morning, until he turned a corner and saw something that stopped his heart. Standing in the middle of the crowd was a figure draped in black. The servant knew at once who it was. Death. And Death looked directly at the servant and made a gesture. A gesture the servant believed was a threat, a promise that his time had come. The servant dropped everything and ran. He ran through the marketplace, pushing through the crowds. He ran through the streets of Baghdad, not looking back. His heart pounding, his breath burning. Only one thought in his mind. I must escape. I must get away before death finds me. He burst into his master's home and fell to his knees. Master, please, he begged. I must leave Baghdad now, this very hour. I saw death in the marketplace, and death looked at me and threatened me. Please, lend me your fastest horse. I will ride to Samarra, 75 miles from here. Death will never find me there. The merchant was a kind man. He did not question, he did not doubt. He simply said, "Take my horse, ride as fast as you can." The servant took the fastest horse and rode as if the devil himself was chasing him toward Samarra, where he believed he would be safe, where he believed death could not follow He rode through the morning, through the afternoon, through the setting sun, never stopping, never resting, until he reached the city of Samarra. Meanwhile, the merchant was curious. He went to the marketplace himself. He wanted to see this death who had frightened his servant so. And there, standing in the same corner, he found the figure in black. The merchant was not afraid. He walked straight up to Death and demanded, "Why did you frighten my servant this morning? Why did you threaten him?" Death paused, and then spoke in a voice calm as still water. "Threaten him? I did not threaten your servant." Death continued, "When I saw him this morning, I was not threatening him. I was surprised." The merchant frowned. "Surprised? Why were you surprised?" Death said slowly, "I was surprised to see him here in Baghdad this morning, because I have an appointment with him tonight in Samarra." The merchant stood frozen, the terrible truth washing over him like ice water. His servant had not escaped death by running to Samarra. He had delivered himself directly into Death's hands. The very act of running was the path to his fate. At that very moment, in Samarra, the servant was settling in for the night, relieved, believing he had outsmarted Death, not knowing that every step he took to escape had brought him exactly where Death was waiting. He had kept his appointment after all. And so I ask you, seeker, what are you running from? And are you certain that running is not the very thing leading you there? We spend our lives trying to escape the pain we fear, the endings we dread, the truths we cannot face. But perhaps the ancient wisdom teaches us that running changes nothing. That fear is not a compass, and that some appointments cannot be missed, no matter which road we take. So here is what the crystal teaches us tonight. You cannot escape what is meant for you, but you can choose how you meet it. The servant ran in fear and found Death waiting. But what if he had walked in courage? What if he had lived that day fully, without fear? Would his fate have changed? Perhaps not. But his final day would have been different. Do not waste your life running from shadows, because some shadows are already ahead of you, waiting at your next destination. Live today as if you have an appointment tomorrow that you cannot miss, because you do. We all do. The servant could not escape his fate, but he could have chosen how he spent his final hours, running in terror or living in peace. He chose fear. What will you choose? The road to Samarra is different for everyone, but we are all walking it. Every step, every choice, every breath brings us closer to our own appointment. So do not run. Walk. with your eyes open, with your heart full, and with no regrets when you arrive. Until we meet again, seeker, may you meet your fate with open eyes. And may your final road be walked, not run.